Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Hobart, where we strive to put love in the center of how we show up in the world. I'm Carla Banks, your worship associate this morning. Welcome to you, old friends and new, young and old. You are an essential part of our celebration today. Whether today is your first or your thousandth Sunday in our midst, we are stronger because you are with us. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders. We are all growing, all learning, all loved. Just as you are welcome here. Today, our worship service will be led by our minister, Reverend Cathy Harrington. Since not everyone can attend in person, we are streaming this worship service online, and we extend a special welcome to all who are joining us virtually. Another way we walk together is by joining together for fun and fellowship. In the interest of time, if you have an announcement to share, please send it in an email to Ashley in the office by Wednesday afternoon. Look for our weekly Spark for more announcements. And if you don't receive the Spark, you can fill out a visitor's form in the parish hall. Terry, I believe you have an announcement. Also, today, 12:30, we'll be meeting with Reverend Harrington to talk about a new covenant. And some people already came on the 14th, but everyone is encouraged.
Hi, good morning. I just want to make a real brief announcement to just bring your attention to that Congressman Frank Mervan is going to be hosting a community conversation on healthcare needs here in his district. This is a very important meeting because we need to charge Frank up to do as strong a job as he can to help rebuild or to get back some of the healthcare destruction that has happened here in the state and is happening across the country. This healthcare community meeting will be held on June 18th from 5 to 6:30 at the Dean and Barbara White Center on Broadway in Maryville. So please come out. And if you have a story to tell about your healthcare needs, please be willing to share it. He needs to hear from us. Okay, thank you very much.
Please take a moment to greet your neighbors. Really greet your neighbors. Say hello to someone you don't know. Please turn off or silence your devices, and as you do so, allow yourself to enter sacred time together. And take a deep breath, and another, and join in the spirit of reverence.
Good morning. It's good to be together again. Each week during our Sunday morning worship service, we join in reciting the words of our affirmation in your order of service or on the screen. Please join with me. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament. Service is its prayer. And this is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
flaming chalice is a symbol of Unitarian Universalism. It suggests the transformations that take place when we are held within religious community. When we light the chalice in worship, we illuminate a world that we feel called upon to serve with love and a sense of justice. Please join us in lighting our chalice by reading together the words on the screen and in your order of service. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. Join us in our doxology.
Please rise and body your spirit. From all that dwell below the skies, let song of hope and faith arise. Let peace, goodwill on earth be sung, through every land, by every tongue. Amen.
The opening words I chose this morning are by the Reverend Gretchen Haley. We are creating here a container that can hold every part of us, all. Not hold as in hold us down, hold as in hold me, know me, belong me into bigger being. And hold as in pause, hold as in place on hold, for this too fast life, this marbles under our feet world has us spinning and struggling to remember our names, and that we are called beloved. We are creating here not as in building from scratch, but as in freeing by our breath, liberating by our atoms, these offerings of our body, of our being. Writing a story spacious enough for all these lives to show up, making a large life enough that every part of us is welcome. That we might hold our wholeness, heal our brokenness, and become together already as we are. Come, let us worship together. Please rise and body our spirit and join me in singing hymn number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me.
352. Find a stillness.
Oh, really?
Number
Sorry.
352. Find a stillness, please. The order of service is incorrect. There's some mistakes in the order of service.
352.
That's why we did hymn sing. 352. Find a stillness, hold a stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony. Seek the essence, hold the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower, watch me flower, carry me. In the Spirit, by
It's time for our story for all ages. If you'd like to come forward, the children are welcome to come forward. If you want to come. Okay, let's do it. Oh, yes. So this service today is called Quiet, and it's going to be a little bit about introverts in our lives and also about finding quiet, that we might all find peace. So this is The Invisible Boy by Trudy Ludwig. Okay. Can you see Brian, the invisible boy? Even Mrs. Carlotti has trouble noticing him in her classroom. She's too busy dealing with Nathan and Sophie. Nathan has problems with what Miss Carlotti calls volume control. He uses his outside voice too much. And Sophie whines and complains when she doesn't get her way. Nathan and Sophie take up a lot of space, and Brian doesn't. When the bell rings for recess, Micah and JT take turns choosing kids for their kickball teams. The best players get picked first, and then the best friends of the best players. Then the friends of the best friends, and only Brian is left, still waiting and hoping. JT glances in Brian's direction and just as quickly looks away. We've got enough players for each team, he tells the others. Let's play ball. In the cafeteria, Madison and her friends talk about her birthday party. The rope swing over the pool was awesome, says JT. Yeah, so was the water slide, adds Fiona. That was the best pool party ever. I'm so glad you guys have fun, says Madison. Everybody did, except Brian. He wasn't invited. At choosing time, while the other kids played board games and read, Brian sits at this table doing what he loves to do best. He draws fire-breathing dragons scaling tall buildings, space aliens locked in intergalactic battles, greedy pirates digging for treasures, and superheroes with the power to make friends wherever they go. Wow, Brian's talented, isn't he? On a Monday morning, Mrs. Carlotti introduces Justin, a new student to the class. Brian smiles shyly at him. Some of the other kids sneak looks at Justin, trying to figure out if he's cool enough to be their friend. And they haven't quite made up their mind. At lunch, Madison and JT watch Justin eat with chopsticks. What's that? Asks Madison as she points at Justin's food. It's bulgogi. What? Bulgogi. It's Korean barbecued beef. My grandma made it for me. It's really good. Do you want to try some? There is no way I would eat boogergi. And the kids all laugh, except Brian. He sits there wondering which is worse, being laughed at or feeling invisible. And so the next day when Justin goes to the cubby to put away his backpack, he notices a piece of paper with his name on it. Justin, I thought the bulgogi looked good. Brian, yum. At morning recess, Brian finds a piece of chalk on the ground and starts drawing away. You're Brian, right? Yeah. Thanks for the note. Hey, Justin, Emilio calls from the tetherball court. You're up next. Sorry, I gotta go, says Justin. By the way, that's a really cool drawing, he says before taking off. So back in class, Mrs. Carlotti asked the kids to team up in 2s or 3s for a special project. The kids scurry around the room to pair off, and Brian heads towards Justin. I'm already with Justin, said Emilio. Find someone else. Brian looks at the floor. Wish he could draw a hole right there to swallow him up. Mrs. Carlotti said we can have up to 3 people in our group, and we're only 2. Come on, Emilio. Let him work with us. Okay, I guess. So Mrs. Carlotti gives the class directions for the project. Your assignment is to work together to write a story about what you see in the photograph. Use your imagination and have fun. Whoa, cool, says Amelia. What kind of people do you think live in houses like that? I don't know, but I bet Brian could draw them to go with our story. And Brian smiles as he takes out his lucky pen. Oh, look at them working away. They came up with a story. The crooked story we made up on the spot. Look at that. It's lunchtime again, and Brian's least favorite part of the day. Another 20 long minutes of kids talking and laughing with everybody else but him. Brian, he hears someone shout, "Hey, Brian, over here." And Brian turns and sees Justin waving him over. Emilio nods at Brian as he makes room for him at the table. Cookie? Thanks. Maybe, just maybe, Brian is not so invisible after all. The end. What was your favorite part of the story? No? Did you have a favorite part?
How he makes friends when he thinks he's invisible.
Yeah, because
How he keeps going on instead of giving up.
that's really lovely. Thank you. That is so true. Not giving up. And, oh, thank you. All right. Thank you so much for listening. All right.
Each week, we share a portion of our Sunday offering with a social justice cause outside our church walls. This month, we are sharing our loose change collection. This month, we are sharing our loose change collection with Moms Demand Action, Northwest Indiana. Donations in the basket will go to sustaining the mission of our congregation, and donations in the cups will go to Mothers Demands for Action. For those not with us in person today, there is an online link for both one-time and regular donations. Would 4 volunteers please come forward? Your prayers, your presence, your service, and your gifts, we are truly grateful.
And now, in the center of our service and in the center of our lives, let us pause to honor the silences of the world. Let us open our hearts to the place of quiet, to the silent prayer for the healing of pain, and the soft, gentle coming of love. I'd like to share this meditation before we share a moment of silence by Reverend Scott Taylor. Who we listen to is who we become. Let us turn inward in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Sometimes the world outside can be so loud, making it hard to hear those voices we once knew so well, voices that once knew us so well. And so to silence we turn to listen for the echoes of memories that make us whole, the pain of others that reawakens our hearts, and the beauty of this wildly generous world that wants us back. This is the attention that saves us, heals us, opens us, expands us. So friends, in the stillness of this space, let us not just listen for clarity and guidance, but to become larger. Those voices whispering from deep within are not just calling us home, they are home. We must remember this. What we give our attention to is what we become. Yes, sometimes the world outside can be so loud, leaving us lost. But the quiet always remains, waiting and willing to be our companion, gently calling us to shift our attention and reclaim ourselves. Let us pause for a moment of silence. I invite you now to come forward and light a candle of memory or hope, or just sit quietly as the music continues to hold us in a meditative space. For our friends and beloveds at home, this candle is for you. And now let us fill this sacred space with the names of loved ones we hold close in our hearts this morning, some suffering in sorrow, some celebrating in joy. The breath of nature is upon us. The spirit of life is within us, and the community of love is around us. So be it, and amen.
Joys and sorrows is a time to share personal joys that you are celebrating so that we can celebrate with you as a community. It is also a time to share personal sorrows that weigh on our hearts so that we can support one another in our times of grief. Keep this in mind that this part of the service excludes our online members, friends, and visitors. Ross, thank you. Ross will come around with the microphone.
Find a Stillness, 352 in your gray hymnal.
Voice still and small. Sorry, I'm very sorry. Voice still and small,
Oh,
390.
sorry. I'm just seeing if you're awake. Okay. I'm obviously not. Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. Winds and rain, sorrow and pain, still will remain, singing, calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing. Sorry.
Our reading today is The Layers by Stanley Kunitz. I have walked through many lives, some of them my own, and I am not who I was, though some principle of being abides, from which I struggle not to stray. When I look behind as I am compelled to look before I can gather strength to proceed on my journey, I see the milestones dwindling toward the horizon and the slow fires trailing from the abandoned campsites over which scavenger angels wheel on heavy wings. Oh, I have made myself a tribe of my true affections. My tribe is scattered. How shall the heart be reconciled to its feast of losses? In a rising wind, the manic dust of my friends, those who fell along the way, bitterly stings my face. Yet I turn, exalting somewhat, with my will intact to go wherever I need to go, and every stone on the road precious to me. In my darkest night, when the moon was covered and I roamed through wreckage, a nimbus-clouded voice directed me. Live in the layers, not on the litter. Though I lack the art to decipher it, no doubt the next chapter in my book of transformations is already written. I am not done with my changes.
Scientists say that the single most important aspect of personality is the north and south of temperament. The north and south of temperament is where we fall on the extrovert-introvert spectrum, according to Susan Cain, the author of the book Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. Our place on this continuum influences our choice of friends, how we make conversation, how we resolve conflicts, and how we love. It affects so many aspects of our lives that introversion and extroversion are two of the most exhaustively researched subjects in personality psychology. Poets and philosophers have been thinking about introverts for centuries. Both personality types appear in the Bible, in the writings of the Greek and Roman physicians, and have even been researched in the animal kingdom. Yet today we are still being counseled to be bold sociable, outgoing, an oppressive standard to which introverts must conform, which is called the extrovert ideal. This is the omnipresent belief that the ideal self is gregarious, alpha, and comfortable in the spotlight. Introversion has been viewed as a second-class personality trait, somewhere between disappointing and pathology. It was Freud who believed introversion was just a few steps away from the unhealthy self-infatuation of narcissism. So it's easy to misunderstand introverts, and often introverts have been told there's something wrong with them. The author of the book, Living Introverted, wrote that it took her 40 years to figure out there was nothing wrong with her. She had been called shy, rude, aloof, a loner, odd, weird, and a host of other negative things by people who just simply didn't understand what made her different. And like Brian, sometimes introverts feel invisible in this noisy world. So we're not necessarily shy, though sometimes introverts avoid social situations because they are draining. They are not antisocial, not timid, insecure, and not rude. Science has shown that introverts' brains are more self-stimulating than the brains of extroverts, and information is processed differently. And this explains why outside stimulation can be overwhelming. The introverted brain is already quite busy. My husband loves that I am self-entertaining. Rosa Parks was referred to as shy and timid, but they said she had a quiet fortitude. She titled her biography, Quiet Strength. Susan Cain asks, why shouldn't quiet be strong? She points out that without introverts, we would not have the theory of gravity, the theory of relativity, Chopin's Nocturnes, Peter Pan, Charlie Brown, Schindler's List, E.T., Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Harry Potter, Google, The Gifts of Eleanor Roosevelt, Meryl Streep, Dr. Seuss, Charles Darwin, Nelson Mandela, Al Gore, Abraham Lincoln, Mahatma Gandhi, and here's one that surprised me, Barack Obama. Perhaps the most famous introvert of all was Moses. When God revealed himself or herself in the form of a burning bush, Moses was a shepherd working for his father-in-law. As Cain writes, he wasn't even ambitious enough to own his own sheep. But he was chosen by God to be the liberator of the Jews. The book of Numbers referred to Moses as a humble man, more so than any other man on earth. Moses is the poster prophet of humility. He said to God, why me? I am slow of speech and tongue, because Moses stuttered and preferred solitude. God had to be making a mistake here. Moses believed that he was the least likely leader for God's purpose. But he was persuaded when God suggested that Moses' brother Aaron could be his front man, while Moses could be the speechwriter and the behind-the-scenes guy. Susan Cain writes. So Moses led the Jews out of Egypt and through the desert for 40 years with Aaron's help. And despite of Aaron's complicity in aiding and abetting the tired and impatient Israelites as they regressed into idol worship while their leader was busy talking to God on Mount Sinai, the people he led out of slavery didn't appreciate Moses. They were hungry and they were thirsty and they hated the food and they were tired and they blamed him and they nagged him and they disrespected him. And when Moses came down from the mountain, he brought the 2 stone tablets containing the sacred rules of God, and he couldn't believe his eyes. His people were having a wild party, dancing around a golden calf, doing exactly what God had commanded them not to do. And in a fit of anger, Moses threw the tablets to the ground and they shattered into pieces. Moses could be the poster prophet of humility, but even the humble have their limits. So Nobel Prize winning winner Elie Wiesel called Moses the most solitary and most powerful hero in biblical history. His remarkable legacy, Wiesel said, was to demonstrate what it means to be fully human. He was the man who experienced frustration, failure, rejection, anger, and disappointment as he answered the call from God. As an introvert, I've always been in awe of Moses. And I feel guilty when I decline an invitation in favor of staying home with a good book or a good movie. And Moses said yes to 40 years of journeying, leading the Jews, and I couldn't even go out for an evening. So it's true that introverts need to recharge their batteries by being alone, while extroverts recharge their batteries by socializing. Introverts are drawn to the inner world of thought and feeling, said Jung, extroverts to the external life of people and activities. Introverts focus on the meaning they make of the events swirling around them, while extroverts plunge into the events themselves. However, Jung said there is no such thing as a pure introvert or a pure extrovert. It's never that simple. It's really common for ministers to be introverts. Religious leaders from Jesus to Buddha have sought solitude to gain insights and wisdom. When I took the 3-day required psychological testing to actually become a minister, I tested as an INFP at home and an ENFJ at work. I'm guessing I had to adapt to be successful. I think I did that when I was a hairdresser, learning to adapt to being more outgoing. Introverts may need extra time home, alone, recharging, but everyone, wherever you are on the spectrum, can benefit from taking time for quiet, for reflection, for rest and solitude. As Leonard Cohen wrote, "The blizzard of the world has crossed the threshold, and it has overturned the order of the soul." Parker Palmer shares that quote and this story in his book, A Hidden Wholeness. There was a time when farmers on the Great Plains, at first sign of a blizzard, would run a rope from their back door out to the barn. They all knew stories of people who had wandered off and frozen to death, having lost sight of their home in a whiteout while still in their own backyards. Today we live in a blizzard of another sort. Its chaos swirls around us as economic injustice, ecological ruin, physical and spiritual violence, racism, commercialism, war. It swirls within us as fear and frenzy, greed and deceit and indifference to the suffering of others. All of the great wisdom traditions point to silence and stillness as the way. Yet our modern society, even in brief moments of silence and stillness, seem hard to attain, but we should try every day. Eckhart Tolle says, when you lose touch with your inner stillness, you lose touch with yourself. And when you lose touch with yourself, you lose touch with the world. When I was serving my first church in Ludington, Michigan, I sought peace by going for long walks on the beach. I remember one really beautiful sunny day when the lakeshore was filled with families and people and tourists. People of all ages enjoying our beautiful beach, swimming and playing and building sandcastles. And it took me back. It made me smile because it reminded me of when my children were young, when we lived in Florida. And on a Sunday morning, I'd get up early and pack up lunch and load the 3 kids in the car and the sheepdog, and we would drive to New Smyrna Beach. This was the only beach where they would let dogs on the beach. Daisy loved catching her Frisbee, and she even enticed strangers to throw it for her. So I packed my little VW Rabbit with sunscreen and Gatorade and towels and kids and extra dry clothes and Band-Aids and my hair cutting scissors because this was a perfect place to do haircuts. Less squirming. It was worth the effort to get there because my children were 4.5 years apart, and the beach was really the only place on the planet where they could all be happy at the same time. And then the drive home was just exquisitely quiet. The only sound was the snoring from the back seat from Daisy, who was completely worn out. I traded my rabbit in many years later for a Honda Civic, and there was still some Florida sand embedded in the crevices. Silly that I couldn't bear to vacuum up those memories. My red-headed sons had fair skin, and my daughter's skin was not so fair, but I was really careful to lather them all up with sunscreen. But one Sunday, I forgot to get under the straps of Leslie's bathing suit. By Monday morning, she had a row of blisters on each shoulder. This was a big complication. As a single mother with 3 kids, by the time I got to work at 8:30 in the morning, it was a Herculean task. Okay, imagine the chaos. 3 schools, clean clothes, breakfast, lunch. My son Andy could never find his shoes, the middle kid never could find his shoes, and it never occurred to me, not once, that he was hiding them. He didn't want to go to school. He finally confessed. He was in his 30s. Moms, be alert. How naive was I? So I got the boys off to school, and Leslie was in the car standing up in the front seat. That was before car seats were the law. And she was standing there with her panties on, refusing to put on her sundress, and I begged and pleaded. Finally, having to give up, she had these big crocodile tears on her face, and she said, "Some kind of mother you are, letting a little child get blistered." So I took her to my mother's house and then slunk off to work with a shroud of guilt hanging over my head. So I tell you that story because I knew the effort it took for those families to get there to that beach with their children and pack lunches, and I absolutely knew. So I noticed this one couple sitting side by side in their beach chairs with their children building a sandcastle nearby, but they were both looking at their cell phones. They didn't even look over at their children. Having just experienced that precious memory of my children, I felt sad and worried in that this was many years ago. It's gotten worse. But in this time of technology, we not only lose touch with ourselves, we miss out on some of life's most precious memories and moments. So I think this is why it requires an extra effort, disciplined intention to get in touch with that inner stillness that technology is stealing from us. There is a price to pay. There was an article in The Guardian recently that asked the question, are we living in the golden age of stupidity? From brain-rotting videos to AI creep, every technological advance seems to make it harder to work, to remember, and to think, and to function independently. Brain rot is a real thing. Google it. Prolonged exposure to low-quality digital content can have long-term effects. Reduced attention span, mental fatigue, decreased memory retention, increased anxiety and stress. In today's world, we are forgetting that there is a deeper layer to reality, a deeper layer to our lives. The nonstop interactivity of technology is one of the most significant shifts ever in our human environment. We are exposing our brains to an environment and asking them to do things that we're not necessarily evolved to do. The good news is you can reverse brain rot with mindful habits, like reducing screen time, moving your body, engaging your mind, and spending time on screen-free hobbies. Again, as the world religious traditions teach us It is important to take time to meditate, to do the rosary, to chant, to pray, to keep the Sabbath, to find our center, that Buddha seed, that still small voice. Take time for holy pauses, spiritual maintenance. Finding our forgotten center isn't easy, especially in this world filled with distractions. Think of it as your rope in the blizzard. Spend time in nature. Live in the layers, not on the litter. Quaker Parker Palmer assures us that the soul's order can never be destroyed. Obscured, but never destroyed. No matter how bad it seems, we can regain our bearings. We can catch sight of our soul, and when we do, we contribute to the healing of the entire wounded world. Read the works of authors who have spent their lives railing against the destruction of our natural world. I'm thinking of Wendell Berry right now. I especially love his essay, An Entrance to the Woods. If you want homework, that's it. So I'm going to close with the poem that's in our hymnal from Wendell Berry, The Peace of Wild Things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. And for a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. May it be so. Amen. And we are going to sing hymn number...
Please rise the body of your spirit for hymn number 1018 in your teal hymnal, Come and Go With Me. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound.
I invite you now to join me in reciting the words on the screen and in your order of service to accompany our extinguishing of the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth,
the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our
hearts until we are together again.
Words are by Andrew Pakula. As you prepare to leave this sacred space, pack away a piece of this church in your heart. Wrap it carefully like a precious gem. Carry it with you through the joys and sorrows of your days, and let its gentle glow strengthen you, warm you, and remind you of what is good and true. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be. Thank you, choir. That was beautiful. So there's a light lunch in the parish hall, so join us for some fellowship and food. And those of you who'd like to join us for covenanting conversations, please meet me back here at 12:30. In here. Thank you, Carly. You did a good job with that poem. You did a really good job.
Yeah.